Hi friends, welcome to Screen Vomit, the only movie podcast hosted by two twins. I'm one of them, Kayla Bates, and I am here with my co-host, Colin.
Hello. Hello.
We famously already recorded this intro and...
Don't... No! We were gonna sound good as H this time around.
Now we're doing it again. So we are joined by an incredible guest today, and that would be a world-famous artist, also world-famous rock and roller, in a few bands with our previous guest, friend of the pod, Jake Babe, including Truman and His Trophy, Ditch Club, and their own new band, Ohori-koen. And that would be my pal, Frank Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for the nice words. Again, even on this second go around.
Yay, we're so glad to have Frank on the pod.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
It is truly spectacular.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
I mean that.
The honor is ours.
Oh,
very
absolutely.
serious.
I'm very serious. Frank, you listen to me right now. I'm so
listening.
serious.
You're the only thing I can hear right now.
Yo, apparently Lindsay's chicken nuggets are good.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
When was the last time y'all had chicken nuggets? That's what I'm saying.
Well, I think we're both vegetarian, so...
Well,
Yeah, it's
okay,
been
Lindsay...
14 years.
Doy fools. I've been vegetarian for a comparable number of eons. Same with Dinzy.
No way.
Yeah, I've been... let's see.
You eat fish.
Oh, yeah, I'm a fish lad, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't respect them.
How long have you been otherwise meatless?
Since... what is it, like freshman year of high school, 8th grade? Which was like
cool.
2006, 2007.
Nice.
Right around the time I found punk rock, pretty much. Started listening to
That'll do it.
Anti-Flag and Propaganda, and was like...
So here's a little fun fact about me.
That'll do it.
The thing that made me go vegetarian, I think I'm drunk now because I can no longer speak. Do you know the little old band called Goldfinger?
Oh, hell yeah.
In the packet to their CD
punk,
called
punk, punk,
Open
punk.
Your Eyes, they had all those like vegetarian facts, and like if you put the CD in your computer, TBT, kids won't know. If you put the CD in your computer, it would like show one of those horrific like slaughterhouse videos, and I was radicalized by Goldfinger, so yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was also 13, so I'm now 31. So I've been meat-free for however many years that is.
Okay. Brag. The only reason you two have more years than I do is because you guys have lived longer.
Yeah, well.
I mean, actually, I think that I probably misspoke at 14 years. I think I've only been doing it for 10 or 11.
Wow,
I've
a
been doing it for
poser
11.
in our midst.
Poser.
Yeah, I'm a poser.
Shame.
And you know what? I'm even more of a poser because like that. I'm not even like, I don't know. I'm
You're
like
not strict?
pescatarian now. It's just, I'm useless at this point.
Yeah, man.
So anyway, this week...
I'm glad the chicken nuggets are good.
They're fake.
That sounds great
They're
to
fake,
me.
though. They're veggie. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, I understand. And I'm gonna come get some.
I hope.
So I'd like you to leave some for me, please.
Yeah, mail Frank a chicken nugget. Will somebody please mail Frank a chicken nugget for the love of God?
GD, folks.
All right, so this week on the pod, we are going to talk about the 28th film, 28th?
2018 film.
We're going to talk about the 2018 film Diamantino. Okay, Frank, our guest, picked this film. Frank, you give us a little hint at why you picked this film for us.
Yeah.
It was just so bizarre and unlike anything I had ever seen before, and I found it to be extremely unique. And there's definitely like objectively a lot to say about that movie. So like,
yeah,
I thought it would be a fun one to talk about. Colorful, exciting, and confusing movie.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. What genre is this movie?
I would call it,
because I have no idea.
Surrealist soccer.
That's it. Surrealist soccer
adventure. Surrealistic soccer adventure.
Yeah, it's hard to describe. It's kind of its own thing. Because there are like political aspects to it as well. There are like comedic aspects. There's dramatic
Yeah.
I'm truly losing my mind over here.
It's all right. You'll make it through the episode.
I will make it through the episode, and this will be a heavy edit episode. So, for the cast of this movie, I don't feel like we shouldn't have to go through them, all right? Because nobody's going to know who they are, because they are all Portuguese actors. But what I will leave you with is this little quote from the LA Times saying that this movie is the funniest, gender-bending, human-cloning, refugee crisis soccer comedy I've ever seen, and also the most thoughtful. So I think that's a great little snip of a review. And they called it a soccer comedy, so there you go.
I wouldn't call this I don't know, I did laugh pretty hard.
Yeah, there was some funny stuff.
It defies genre, really.
It does defy genre. Do you want to give us our critic scores?
Yeah.
What's happening?
I tooted. I don't know if it got on tape, or on the mic, but this it was big. Anyway, Rotten Tomatoes gives it an 89%. Great score. Metacritic has a 73, doing the Metacritic thing where it's just lower than Rotten Tomatoes. And what is it, Google user? The old wild card. The old Alita Battle Angel, 94%. They give Diamantino a 77.
I think it's Diamantino, right?
Diamantino. Okay, what did I say?
In their language, they kind of just say it like demon, like...
They
Diamantino.
Speed on through it.
Yeah. So, and we usually watch the trailers. However, this trailer is in entirely a different language. So I don't think listening to the audio will sell anyone on this movie unless you speak Portuguese. So I instead am going to read this plot summary from Google.com. When Portuguese soccer hunk Diamantino blows it in the World Cup finals, he goes from superstar to laughingstock overnight. His sheltered worldview gets further shattered after learning about the European refugee crisis, and he resolves to make amends by adopting an African refugee, only to find that his new son is actually an undercover lesbian tax auditor investigating him on suspicion of corruption. From there, Diamantino gets swept up in an odyssey involving twins and Secret Service skullduggery. Now, isn't that a tongue twister? Secret Service skullduggery. So anyway, the plot summary to this movie is absolutely bonkers, baby.
Yeah, that's nuts, though.
Yeah, so that's our reaction to the...
No, I was initially reluctant because when Kayla sent me the list, was it a list you sent me, or you said...
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just was like, I don't know, let's pick this one, and then you were like, I don't know, this is the summary for another one, and I was just like, yeah, sure, absolutely, that's one of the wildest things I've ever read, it touches so many aspects, and I don't know how they're going to do it. And I assumed it must be, just a super long, like, droll of a movie. But,
yeah, that was like the first thing you said was like, this is probably going to be like 1,000,000 hours long, right? And I was like, nope, a sweet 90 minutes.
I swooned.
Now we gotta see that.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Frank, for bringing this movie to us, because I still don't know how I feel about it. I liked it. That's it.
Well, we're going to talk about it, and then maybe you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I think, like, what really got me with it was how beautiful visually it was.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Like,
yeah.
I don't even want to like talk about some of the things that happen in the movie that like convey its beauty, but like there are giant fluffy dogs.
Yeah.
The fluffy
running
puppies
through clouds. It's fluffy puppies, and it's just like, so everything about it was just completely unexpected to me as I watched it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, totally.
Oh,
you never will see where this movie is going. You'll never guess it.
Absolutely not.
Should we? Let's start from the top. Fortunately, this movie, for all its like surreal aspects, it is very chronological. It is very. This happens because this happens because this happens. Yeah.
So let's see. We starting with the character of Diamantino. He's based on a real life Portuguese soccer player, or football, as they call it. Cristiano Ronaldo, real man. And I'll tell you, if you look up his pic, they're freaking twins. They look exactly alike. They have the same haircut and everything. The actor who plays Diamantino did a bunch of working out to develop a big old six-pack just for this movie, because the guy he's based on is kind of famous for having a six-pack and walking around with his shirt off all the time. So that's kind of... Imagine the dedication just to be in this movie.
That explains it.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah, that rules.
So he's like the star athlete of this Portuguese soccer team, and Frank mentioned the fluffy puppies is like the zone he gets into on the field is being surrounded by these fluffy puppies. And when they came on screen, I watched this with Goo last night, and they were like, did I miss something? Or like, what's up with the dogs here? And I was like, no, you didn't miss anything. He just says like, just me on the field, me and the fluffy puppies. And then like...
Yeah, it just happens.
Then they're Pekingese. How do you say that dog? Pekingese, whatever. Pekingese dogs.
And they're enormous.
Very cute. But they're gigantic. They're like, super huge. So I don't know how that works, but hey, to each his own, I guess.
It's cool because it sets you up pretty early, because you hear that like monologue. He's doing this like monologue about life, about who he is, and he's just like a total dimwit. Affable fool.
Your classic airhead athlete.
Yeah. Billy Madison, except he plays soccer. And it just immerses you in this movie, in this universe, and it lets you know, like, here's where we're starting. We're starting with, like, the game is gone, and he's just running with puppies for a full minute.
Yeah.
And...
This thing goes off the rails, instantly.
Yeah, everything else is unexpected, and you're just like, okay, here we go. I'm just going to trust this fucking movie.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, the movie, it kind of every 5 minutes is just like, oh, okay, and guess what? Like, just like...
Truly.
Oh, you like that? You like that? Here, guess what?
Oh my god.
Literally every 5 minutes. You're exactly right.
Yeah, I'm just reading the Wikipedia of it, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's so much we have to get through.
There's so much. So one of the second twists that we see is when they're on the boat. And we find out that the Portuguese Secret Service is spying on Diamantino via drones because they suspect him of money laundering. And there are two ladies who are in a relationship who are also the Secret Service people. It's fine.
Yep.
The more I say it out loud, I'm like, this is just...
They were working out of their apartment as well.
Is that where they are?
Yeah, they're like... She's like getting up to leave, and they're like in the room next to the kitchen the whole time.
This is incredible. So while they're on the boat, though, they come across a raft full of refugees. And this is when Diamantino starts to learn about the European refugee crisis, where, you know, all these people are fleeing all these countries around that area who are in the middle of terrible wars and have been for so long, trying to get to Europe via these rafts, and can be really dangerous. And the group that he finds, one of them has like lost her daughter on the trip, and it's hard shit out there.
Yeah, it takes a really heavy turn. Just probably 5 minutes in?
Yeah, maybe not even.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, this maybe is the 5 minute turn.
Yeah, because at first you're just like, oh, he's just a dumb guy who loves his dad and his sisters are mean, but okay, whatever. And then it's like refugees, and you're like, oh, shit. Oh, yeah.
But even despite having that like twist of the refugees, like it doesn't get that. Well, it gets darkly political, but it's presented in kind of a lighter or like kookier way.
Yeah.
So you don't think about it too hard.
Yeah, I'd agree about that.
So yeah, speaking of his family, like, yeah, he has two abusive twin sisters that are...
So mean.
They're so mean, but their characters are so good. I mean, like...
They're like two queens of hearts.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. They straight up just acknowledge it. At one point, they just yell, "We're mean, we're bitches," or something.
Yeah. And later in the movie, when we get to like their usernames and passwords for everything, it's like,
Yeah.
I didn't write any of it down, but it's all like two cold bitches is like the username or something.
I also love the this sort of like staging elements of those characters. I thought that like there were lots of really, really wonderful like pictures, like scene pictures designed around symmetry featuring those two. I was like really reminded of like Jodorowsky, like, you know, Holy Mountain kind of set pictures, but through this like, you know, weird pink puppy lens.
Yeah, I think I read that they use like 16 millimeter film on this movie, but then also still use CGI aspects, so it creates this like such a strange thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It has a very like dreamy look to it. It's like a dreamy and nostalgic look, and I think there's also like there's like this sort of Jodorowsky thing happening, but there's also like this like grittier situation, and then this like Wes Anderson sort of vibe. There's like all these different like I feel like very clear influences visually in this movie that come together really beautifully. Yeah,
it's weird because like some of the ways in which we're describing this movie, I feel like can be interpreted negatively. Like, you know, it's kind of all over the place style, you know, but it's not to the detriment of this movie. I think those are positive things in this particular case. So yeah. So I didn't want to make that clear. So yeah, we have these crazy twin sisters. We have the dad who he says pretty much up top that he loves his dad. They're like close as can be. He's the only one who supports him, blah, blah, blah. He said he was the Michelangelo of soccer. So that's cute. So
sweet.
Yeah, it's nice. Unfortunately, the dad dies instantly. So yeah, they're at like the World Cup. He misses the last... Like, they're down to the wire, 1 point down kind of thing, and misses the last point. And the sisters start yelling at the dad, and he dies while they're, like, yelling at him and slapping him in the face.
It's just so mean. They're so mean. They kill him.
I know.
They're so bad.
They kill him by pushing him down. And he's just like, and he's so sweet about it. He is just like, it doesn't matter if he wins or loses. I still love him. And it's like, that is the sweetest thing a parent can ever say about a kid.
I know.
Ever. And they just respond by hitting him and throwing him and killing him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're bad people.
They are bad, and that's pretty well established. They just get badder and badder.
I think what's also kind of established there is like, you know, he misses the point because he's so hyper focused on the refugees.
Right, good point.
Encounter.
Yeah, I didn't mention it.
So much happens in this movie.
I know.
I'm sorry, y'all.
No. I would not trying to complain. It's just like, yeah, they really do. It's detailed. Very well detailed.
Details. Yeah. And like we said, a curveball every 5 minutes. So it just pops off. You know what I'm saying? So one thing that I thought was really funny. So at the end of the game, when he's lost and everything, you know, he breaks down and cries on the field. And then he gets memed to death.
Yeah.
Yes.
They show him like looking at a meme of his face crying, and it says like that feeling when she friend zones you and stuff.
Damn. What a nightmare. What a hellscape.
I know, and he's like, every channel he turns to is just like, look at this man, the biggest loser in the world. He basically ruined our country. Like,
yeah. They are so heavy-handed on how mean people are being to him.
Yeah. It's crazy. And then he goes on that talk show, and the lady's like, so I heard your father just died, who you were really close with. Well, let's watch, like, footage of you and your father.
Yeah!
Oh, my God. Like, so insane.
And he at one point, he doesn't want to go on the talk show, and his sister's, like, abuse him into going on it. It's terrible. His
sisters are terrible. So he had seen a commercial that says, like, you should adopt refugees because there's all these refugee children who have no parents now. So when he's on this show, he says to the world, I'm going to adopt a Fuji. And
Fuji.
Yeah, we all have heard of the Fujis. So the two aforementioned coupled Secret Service agents.
So much.
Thinking of how insane I sound again. We're watching this on TV and concoct a scheme where one of them is going to pretend these women, what would you say, late 20s, mid to late 20s?
Yeah, about that.
I was going to say early 30s.
Early 30s? What's the difference, really?
Well, I think Secret Service agent, you're in your 30s.
I think you only need 4 years of college to become an agent. I don't know. What do I know? I didn't go to 0 years of college, baby. So I just guess at what college even means. So they decide that one of them is going to dress up as a preteen boy named Raheem and go undercover to be the kid that Diamantino adopts, while her partner dresses up as a fake nun, or dresses up as a real nun, I guess you could say. No.
With how bad, with the wings on the head, nuns don't do that anymore. She dressed up as a fake nun.
I didn't know if that was maybe like a cultural thing, like
Yeah, I assumed that was maybe like some Portuguese thing I didn't know about, but
all right.
It might. Yeah.
I don't know.
Can't believe you guys aren't up on your Portuguese nun attire.
We are 3 non-Portuguese people trying to interpret this movie. So take that how you will.
I will say, speaking of Portuguese, I feel like I would have loved to see this movie understanding Portuguese because there seemed to be so many little vocal things happening that I couldn't pick up on.
Oh, yeah.
In the subtitles.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like I missed out at it.
As well as tons of wordplay that the subtitles attempted to get across, and like Fuji is some of it, like some of the wordplay or whatever, or like the tiny idiosyncrasies of Diamantino.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like with just how curated like the rest of the look and everything we can get aside from the language of this movie is, I feel like they probably spent, they put some attention into what they were saying and how they were saying it. And it would have been cool to be able to understand that naturally. But as it is we all read the subtitles.
Yep.
Which were sometimes they were putting the subtitles on white on white. And I'll say that was not a great choice.
Oh, okay. What'd you watch it through?
Amazon.
No, that's very fucked up.
Wait, what'd you watch?
I watched it on my Apple TV, my Apple brand television.
Well, this little Apple man over here with the Richie Rich over here.
Hey!
Look, I got a Sony TV that was the first smart TV from like the year 2009.
It was a good year.
None of the smart features work on it any longer. All the apps are outdated to the point where they don't work.
Oh, damn.
So that's what I'm working with here.
Apparently
and a
Amazon
Roku.
works.
Okay. I have a Roku hooked up to it.
Okay.
That's the only way. So anyway, where were we? The adoption. So they fool this dumb man into adopting this grown woman dressed as a young boy. And they drive off into the sunset, and we hear that song by Donna Lewis, the I Love You Always Forever.
Yeah.
That was incredible. That's maybe like the first song that we hear in the movie. I don't know if it's the first one or not, but it's like it was it rocked. The soundtrack to this movie is insane. I'll say it was a bit random, if you ask me.
Random.
But yeah, that rocked. We love to rock to 90s tunes.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, this is wild. He's just... I couldn't... When they showed up in a garage and brought the Raheem, supposedly, to him, he just bought it. It was just like, oh yes, parking garage. Normal place to pick up a kid.
And it's a little like heartbreaking because you see like how gullible he is and how like pure his intentions are. Like he really does want to like do good and help somebody, and these people are just truly taking advantage of him and like being, con artists.
Completely directing him in the wrong directions.
Yeah, it's pretty sad, but
yeah. He is just like the ultimate sympathetic character.
Totally.
Like, you just can't not adore him as a character.
Yeah.
Totally. He's a delight.
He's a sweet man. The only sweet man who's ever been in movies. So we see from here just like a bunch of relationship building with him and his new son question mark. He gets tricky with the pronouns. He gets the kid a Samsung Galaxy S9 phone.
Raheem,
okay. Yeah. This movie came out 2 years ago, and they still have 1 year newer of a model of phone than me. Because I have the S8, baby. 2020.
Hell yeah.
All his sheets have his face on it, like all the bed sheets in everybody's room.
that ruled.
His face everywhere, which is hysterical. He has a big, huge, cool house and lives with his crazy twin sisters who scream constantly and like do wild shit always.
Yeah, they're just scheming constantly.
They're scheming, but also doing shit like getting a pig stuck in a labyrinth or like what?
Yeah.
Just like abusing animals.
Yeah, what was that?
People with too much money problems.
They chase this pig around for a while, and then next thing you know, they're chopping it.
Pig for dinner. Yeah. As we've all known meat eaters, right?
This is wild. I couldn't...
Yeah.
And then, okay, this is when things start to get a little like, Because...
Things that make you say,
Yeah, what is freaking Diamantino, he wants to be a good dad. So he wants to be kind of ticklish and like playful and everything. Wouldn't you feel the freaking be the bubbies?
Well, I think you're probably, most people are not tickling boobs. I would say it's more of a, more of a like ribs or sides kind of situation, or possibly a legs scenario, armpits potentially, but straight up just honking on a titty to do a tickle. I think
not a honk. I didn't say honk. Maybe a brush.
She's also binding with
I forgot.
like an ace bandage or something.
I feel like this movie, by that point in the movie has like destroyed any expectations regarding suspension of disbelief.
Oh, totally.
There's just, I have like no reason to question anything it tells me, because the reality it's presented is already completely bizarre.
Whatever it is, it is.
It's kind of like when you're in a dream and you're just like, oh, now my garage is the library, and that's totally fine because this is Dream World and I'm not going to question it. That's kind of how that movie is treated me.
Yeah, it is. It rocks. So she's there every night. She is kind of gathering evidence, or attempting to. So like I said, they thought that he was money laundering. So she goes and hacks on his computer, and there's just a button that says execute hacking, and the
hacking system ruled.
She gets into the mainframe, of course, and finds on his computer he only has puppy pics and funny pics of himself.
He rules. He rules.
It was like a picture of his face in space and stuff.
He's so cool.
That was hysterical. It was awesome. So now we have the side plot of the sisters. Let's see, we see them on the phone call with some mysterious lady, and she says something like, we're going to give your brother an experimental trial treatment, and don't worry, it'll make you rich. And they're like, sure, where do we sign?
Yeah,
we're going to be rich. But we kind of find out that the intent is to clone him, and we meet Dr. Lamborghini, classic last name that a normal person would have.
It is a classic last name, yeah.
So he starts going to this doctor like a couple times a week or something. And this doctor has computers just like Iron Man. So could be considered a mad scientist type. And when they're doing the intake interview, they're asking him all these questions, and they're like, when was the last time you had sex? And he's like, I never had sex. Must be cool, though.
Seems difficult.
That was cute.
Seems like it'd be a lot of work, right? Like, something like that.
Yeah. That was great.
You find out he's just a dummy.
Yeah. I mean, in medical terms, we call it a dummy. In layman's terms, we would say that he has the brain function of a child.
Yeah, dummy. It rocks. It just made me like him even more. Yeah,
she's doing some kind of like weird genetic experiments. Another time when I realized how insane this movie sounds. She's going to like inject some kind of clownfish DNA in him for some reason. That's right.
Yeah, and her whole lab is like a biodome ecosystem. She's like walking around in water, and there's like trees and jungle. It was insane, but you just accept it. But yeah, it's just once
like Frank said, the rest of it is so crazy. You're just like, well, I'm on board.
Yeah, once you see the puppies, you're just like, okay, yeah, whatever comes.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So with the clownfish genes or whatever, there's a warning that there's a chance that he will grow boobies. Nice, big, perfect little boobies.
Perfect.
And he does grow the boobies.
He does.
That made me laugh.
Yeah.
He keeps calling them his bumps.
His little lumps.
His little lumps. Yeah. He's just like, wait, 1 second. I have these little lumps.
Yeah. I've grown some little lumps, and I wouldn't like to show anybody.
Yeah.
Oh, because at this point in the movie, they're trying to put him into weird Portuguese right-wing propaganda, and he grows...
Yeah. So this is where, like, another political aspect of this movie comes in. And I would say if it wasn't for this, like, little chunk of the movie, that this movie could be set in, I would say, any time, basically.
Yeah.
But this, like, couple things really nail it to being more current. The people behind doing this experimentation on him is the Portuguese government, because they are trying to secede from the EU, similar to a Brexit scenario. So they have phase 1, which is propaganda. So they've been working on this commercial throughout the movie. They're shooting this commercial, doing all this crazy shit everywhere. Phase 2 is cloning. So they want to clone enough Diamantinos to make an entire soccer team out of just hymns and make it the best soccer team anyone's ever seen. And they'll give the country hope for itself.
They have a really great little digital animation of this soccer team full of Diamantinos that I really loved.
And they specifically use the terminology like, we will make Portugal great again.
Yeah.
Which is terminology that we've heard similarly. And they mention making a giant wall between Portugal and the rest of Europe or whatever. So very topical. Shit is crazy.
Yeah, they're like... Oh boy, because at the same time we've got Rahim Aisha... discovering all of this while doing her research, and she straight up just finds that video. It's just like laying out point by point their plan.
Yeah.
Just like evil plan number 1.
Yeah, it's like they made a YouTube video to advertise their like evil plan.
Yeah.
That they have been like stealing Diamantino's money and putting it into Swiss bank accounts and stuff.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, so she discovers that the sisters are the ones behind the crimes.
Yeah. Money laundering.
Yeah. Another thing about Diamantino and his fake son is that he calls himself Daddy constantly.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Once you accept that he's baby-brained, everything else just falls into place.
I remember she's asking him about his like past relationships at one point, and he's like, "I'll never marry. Daddy's a solitary man." I love that. This movie is great.
He has such a beautiful, stupid confidence.
Yeah. I was really
Daddy
worried.
is a solitary man.
I was really worried at the top of the movie that I was gonna fucking hate this guy, and I'm just like, oh god, sports. Cause you know us. Sports.
Yeah, right. Bunch of nerds over here.
Yeah, give me a book.
We don't fuck with jacks.
No, but I was immediately endeared to him, and you just continue being endeared to him from like, even to the point where they like go over his diet, and he's just like, oh, normal stuff. Nutella pancakes, Nutella waffles, and BOGO juice.
He loves the BOGO juice. They mention it hundreds of times in this movie.
And that's what he feeds the kid. And it seems that's all he eats.
Yeah. Which, hell yeah, if I was a rich trillionaire or whatever,
for
sure. I'd be eating some fucked up shit, yeah. So, more on the sisters. They plant a hidden camera in Rahim Aisha's room and catch her kissing her nun girlfriend when she comes to check in or whatever. So her secret's out, and they try to murder her, which is a wild scene.
Yeah.
But Diamantino comes home just in the nick of time, and they end up escaping onto a yacht, and this is when we get the double titty reveal. So, like, he's in the mirror looking at his new little lumps, and she comes down and finds him, and he's like, oh, look at my disgusting weird little lumps. And so she reveals her own little lumps in that moment. And they boink ? And they're in love now. Aw.
I guess. Yeah. It was weird.
That was the strangest I felt through that entire movie, and that movie made me feel very strange at a baseline.
Yeah, I mean, at first you're like, I don't know how to feel because he has adopted this person and thinks that they're a young boy. But then you're like, but it's not a young boy, so...
No.
And he's not actually daddy because their adoption is fake, so... Things that make you say,
Yeah, the summary I'm reading on Wikipedia doesn't mention any boinking. It just says, like, they reveal... Well, it's more of
a... they reveal, they kiss...
They have a romantic moment.
They kiss while undressing, and then later they're cuddling, so it's like, we don't see anything, but...
Yeah.
Implication.
Yeah.
But... I mean, I guess I would prefer it that way, where, like, if they imply it, it's, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. And he does, like, he's narrating this whole film, and in the narration, he's saying stuff like, I've never felt such love, or something like this, so, I don't know, it just kind of seemed like they boinked.
Yeah, it did.
Up for interpretation. But while they're cuddling... He gets all these texts from his sisters saying, don't trust the son, or it's a girl and she's stealing from us, and whatever. Is this the same time?
I think so.
And so they go back, and he gets kind of kidnapped by the sisters, and so Aisha now has to go save him. And... man, everything happens right now. It's hard to even know what to start with. They're like at the science lab. All the bodies are like ready to go. But if they finish the cloning, he's going to die from it. So she has to save him from this. They reenact the sword scene that was in the commercial they were shooting.
Yeah.
But now it's her fighting the sisters and she actually murders them, which is cool. We love that.
Yeah, that rocked. I'm glad they died.
Yeah.
They're so, like, man, they're such good evil characters.
They just, they're baddies.
They're so good at being bad. She goes and touches his face, and he says something like, I felt her true, honest, warm touch of love, or something like that. So he comes back to life, and then saves her from another person who was going to shoot her. It's like a whole thing. And he goes to see the fluffy puppies again to say goodbye this time. And they're happy and in love and naked on a beach somewhere. And that's pretty much roll creds. I can't believe we made it through that so fast, honestly.
Oh, we were just rattling it off. Yeah.
We were rattling it off. But I would say, I usually... So often in movies you see, like, there's a man character and there's a woman character. Well, obviously they're going to be in love, and it's like so forced together. And I feel like this movie was such a good kind of organic relationship between the two of them. I mean, and you just don't see that very often. Even though we did talk about the weirdness where it was actually his son or something. But you see them actually, like, growing together and, like, doing fun stuff together and, taking care of each other kind of stuff. For sure.
There's tons of montages of them just hanging out and having fun.
Yeah.
There's the whole storyline aspect of Rahim Aisha getting caught cuddling Diamantino and her partner getting pissed about it.
And that's kind of what sparks the sisters off too, isn't it? Because they hear that woman yelling like "fuck you, Aisha" or something.
Yeah, because the girlfriend's leaving as the nun and is just like "fuck you, Aisha," and the sisters are just like "Snoopy, Snoop, Snoop."
Who's Aisha? Nuns don't say fuck. What's going on here?
I wouldn't have registered any of that. If I saw a nun say "fuck you, Daryl" and drive off on a scooter, I'd be like,
"Good for her."
Yeah, she's getting out of there, huh?
Great queer story too, because he doesn't care if Aisha is a man or a woman, and they just fall in love. And you know what, though? I did, like, basically everything I read about this movie, all the reviews and, you know, stuff I read about this movie refer to Aisha's character as a lesbian, even though we know at the end she falls in love with a man. So I would call that bi-erasure. So that's just my 2 cents there.
True.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, bisexuals exist. I don't know. What else do we have to say about this movie? I can't believe... I just feel like it's been a whirlwind and now it's over and I'm depressed about it.
That's kind of how it is. It's kind of just like... It's just an experience.
I mean, we did say it's a 90-minute flick. All this shit happens in 90 minutes and then it's over and what do you do, you know?
Yeah.
It's funny because, I watched this most recently, like, 2 weeks ago. And it feels, in remembering the movie, it feels like it was a 4-hour-long movie. Like, even though it was a 90-minute movie. Because it's so dense. And I don't know. I was just thinking, like... I like the picture of the sort of gradient of love that Diamantino has. Like, his love for the sport, which he loses. Yeah. His love for his dad, which he loses his dad. This love for what is ostensibly his son, and how that morphs into something else. It's sort of this, like, really great gradient of what love could be to somebody.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it, like, thinking of it as an exploration in those terms.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, on top of all of that, it's just fucking gorgeous to look at
really
as a movie. It's beautiful.
And it's such a fun ride. I mean, this is really a movie that feels like you kind of go somewhere else for a chunk of time, you know?
Completely. It's wild. It left me just kind of speechless, I guess. It just finished and I was like, that's great, I guess. It doesn't really have, like, a huge message. I don't know. Like, whatever, I don't know what the movie is positing other than just, like, an enjoyable story. Because it doesn't, like, it doesn't infer that he actually helps the crisis at all. You know, he just kind of gets suckered into something. So, like, that's still there. I don't know.
Yeah, it is just kind of like, an observation more than a comment, maybe?
Yeah. I don't know. I liked it.
We're all just thinking over here.
I'm glad I saw it.
Yeah.
There's a lot to think about. I'm so happy that y'all wanted to watch it and enjoy it.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
It is just like there's just so much you could say about how interesting and bizarre and just totally different. Like just totally completely different this movie is.
Yeah. Holy.
I will say a movie this made me think about that I haven't seen in a while, so I guess I can't truly say if it holds up, but there was one time I found this random movie on Netflix, and the title of it was so goofy that I was like, I'm definitely watching this, but it also had kind of an insane concept and reminded me a lot of this movie. It's called The Immaculate Conception of Little Dizzle. Have y'all heard of this?
Nope.
What? No.
It has Natasha Lyonne. I think it was her first movie back after, her whole drug thing and her being gone for forever. Anyway, it's an insane story about this group of janitors who work in this like science lab who find these cookies that were an experiment. They were working on some cookies that always feel like they've just come out of the oven, so they feel warm even when they're in the wrapper and you've just bought them at the store.
Yeah.
But they were in the trash, so they've been discarded. And these guys are like, oh, we found all these cookies, let's just eat them. And they become pregnant with fish. So it's like it's a crazy movie, but it just kind of reminded me of...
Yeah.
I remember watching that movie and being like, this is the most insane, like, random shit I've ever heard of or seen.
Yeah.
I'm really interested. I'm just looking at Google image results of this movie, and I really want to watch
You want to see the fish babies?
It's crazy. And I love Natasha Lyonne, so that alone is, like, enough to sell me on anything. But, it actually, I remember it being good, but I haven't watched it in a few years, so, take that with what you will.
I'd like to check that out.
Anyway, so it just kind of reminded me, they're similar. So now that we've reached the end of this movie, I guess. We got to rate this bad boy out of 5. Colin, do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll give it a 3.
Okay.
I just enjoyed it. But I don't know. I'm at a loss. There's something missing from it for me. There's a big aspect that I think it's just purpose.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing that right now. But everything else I loved. It is this wild ride of a story that's really fun to go on. But just for me personally, something's missing.
Okay. Frank, what will you say out of 5?
I believe I gave it a 4 on Letterboxd. So I would say somewhere around there. I like deeply, deeply loved it.
Yeah.
So much. So I don't know. Like I'm also not really in the business of rating movies because I don't have a podcast. But
look, we're just a couple of dummies who have a microphone and a computer. Like we're no geniuses over here.
All right, I'm going on the high side of 4.
Okay.
Hell yeah. I would say I'm probably also 4. It was such an enjoyable ride, and it is so like creative and unique. I do kind of agree with you. Like there maybe could have been more of a statement to it, but I think as far as just having a little slice of pie for the evening, this was a good one.
Yeah, and not every movie has to have a statement. That's not a necessity. This is just me having my own little bullshit. I'm being a little whiny baby.
Colin's back on his bullshit.
I'm back on my bullshit. I am the bullshit baby. Watch out.
Okay, and I think it's fair to say, would we all recommend this movie?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Now it's time for ScreenVomit. So in this part, we talk about what else we've been watching besides this movie. So, Colin, do you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, it's we've recorded again in close proximity to each other, so I'm still just watching the same old. A lot of X-Files. Going through that for the first time, and it still rocks. And a lot of WCW Monday Nitro from the year 1996, and I'm getting close to where Hulk Hogan is going to have the big reveal as Hollywood Hulk Hogan with the NWO.
Wow.
Whoa!
It's gonna be
Frank,
wild.
were you ever a wrestling person?
Oh my god, yeah, like so big. Yeah, I for a long time in my life was super into it.
Yeah?
I had like 4 different Undertaker shirts. I had like 5 Stone Cold Steve Austin
hell
shirts.
yeah.
I was super into the WWF.
Oh, do you remember? I performed at a variety show that Frank used to host and curate every once in a while, and I performed as the Undertaker.
That adds up.
That
was fun.
Amazing. It was just spectacular. Like just I was like standing in the backstage area, like biting my hand to stop like crying at how beautiful it was.
And I had former guest Jake Bay be my pallbearer, and instead of an urn, he brought up my ukulele, because I play ukulele. So yeah, I did the whole Undertaker's intro. We played the theme song. I did the like slow walk up the aisle to the stage.
Hell yeah.
And dressed up fully as the Undertaker. I bought a muscle tee just for the occasion. And then Jake handed me my ukulele, and I busted out into my little song, and the crowd busted out in laughs from after being so serious to just playing a ukulele song. But it was very fun, and I'll never forget it. So that's that story. What were we talking about initially? Were you done saying what you'd been watching, Colin?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Frank, what you been watching?
I just watched this movie called Victoria that I really, really loved. It's really wild. It's all one take and not like a Birdman one take where it looks like one take. It's like legitimately all one take, which doesn't feel gimmicky in the movie, which I was worried it would. But it was really, really intense and exciting and also just pretty unique. Takes place over the course of 2 or 3 hours in Berlin, and it's really something else. I loved that. I have been hankering. I haven't rewatched it yet, but I've got the Jones. I've got the hankering to rewatch Perfect Blue. If you've ever seen Perfect Blue,
no. What is it? I've never heard of it.
It's an anime actually, but it's sort of like, I don't know if you're like big David Lynch fans at all. I'm a huge David Lynch dork.
Sure.
And it's very like surreal, definitely more like clearly linear than a lot of David Lynch stuff, but like it's pretty surreal thriller, really an experience. So I'm planning on rewatching that tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
This looks tight.
You looking it up?
Yeah, I'm looking it up on my 2020 MacBook Air.
Oh my god.
Using Google Chrome. I need to update it though.
Oh, you got to get the new one. You got to get the update the 6.0.1.1.3.015.
Dude, you gotta get the updates,
You
dude.
have to.
I've been meaning to, but I haven't been using my computer other than when I record, and I don't want to update it while I'm recording because then I can F it up.
That's true. I usually go with the old no updates method. I don't update my phone. I don't update my computer. I won't update anything I don't have to. All right?
Hell yeah.
The updates is where you get into the tall grass. All right? They just try and shove stuff in there that you don't need and fuck up your phone and kill the batteries. All right? It's a conspiracy.
I buy it.
They pile that stuff in there. I got a friend in Baltimore who has not updated their phone since Instagram did frames.
Wow.
So like somehow they still can post all of their photos with like the Instagram frames that that Instagram used to have.
Yeah.
Those are gone like 6 years ago.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
That's my type of friend. What I'm talking about. Where were we? Frank, was that all the things that you're watching?
Yeah.
All right.
I've been watching the show Baskets. Have y'all seen it?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I've heard of it.
It's got Zach Galifianakis and my favorite Louis Anderson cast as Zach Galifianakis' mom, which is like
beautiful.
That
so
rocks.
incredible. He's amazing. I think he won some Emmys for his performance in this show.
For sure.
Oh wow, he deserved that. He makes that show for me.
Oh my god, yeah, he's just. I can't even, like, his expressions as an older, like, let's say heavyweight older woman, a mom of like kids in her 40s. It's just so authentic. It's too real and it's incredible. It's you just
really
wouldn't
good.
expect that in 100 years, you know?
Yeah.
He's so good at it. I will say, I felt like this show took a little bit to find its footing, or it took like a couple episodes to find its footing, but once it did, I really enjoy it. And I think I'm on season 4 now, season 3 or 4, can't remember. But I don't think I have much more to go, so I'll be looking for something new here soon.
Nice.
But anyway, I recommend that show. It's on Hulu. It's good.
We did just watch The Terror.
Oh, yeah?
It's a like each season is sort of like a mini series. But yeah, that was a wild one. Anyway, just look it up.
Hell yeah.
The Terror.
We love Rex. I'm always flying through shows somehow, so
Yeah.
I love to have Rex.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's what we've been watching. So now we're to the plugs portion of the show. Frank, do you have anything to plug?
Nah.
Nothing?
Hell yeah.
If you want, I do. I'm an illustrator, and as Kayla mentioned, I am a musician. If you check me out on Instagram at FrankOKAY, you can hear about the stuff I'm doing. Nothing on the books right now, but I don't know. We'll talk. Follow me on Instagram and we'll be...
Frank's got a website called frankok.com.
Wow.
frankok.com. It's the official website.
Yeah, there you go. The official website, because we have here with us on the podcast a celeb who has their own website. Wow. And
yeah, you can't just get those.
So I've mentioned it on the podcast before, but the first Fridays of June and July, which I think we're going to miss the June one by the time this comes out, but of June and July are Bandcamp days where all the proceeds from Bandcamp go to the artists if you buy stuff on Bandcamp. So look up all the bands I said Frank was in and buy all the musics on Bandcamp. And you can also buy our theme song on Bandcamp from Thin Swimmer, and you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Letterboxd, all the things at ScreenVomit, one word. Subscribe to us on your little app and send us an email at screenvomitpod@gmail.com or tweet us with your thoughts on this movie or other movies. I hope that you watched this one, and I hope that you watch the next one. And we'll see you next time. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.